Hello, welcome to Dungeon Rolls Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today, we're going to be talking about the top 10 best and worst movies of the year. Of course, this is my opinion. Everybody has their own opinions. Let me know in the comments what you thought about my list. After I give my best and worst, I'm going to do a short overview of all the movies I watched this year. So in case you're like, why wasn't this movie on your best list, or why wasn't that movie in your worst list? There's a chance I didn't even watch it because I actually had to force myself to watch some bad movies this year. Which this wasn't a quick list to make. I watched like 10 movies, right? And this took me like over like a week to make this list, right? And yes, there were some movies that a lot of people were saying were the best movies of the year, like Oscar Isaac's The Car Counter, which was written by the Taxi Driver guy. Never watched that movie. I'm not really into dramas, hence why I didn't watch the Nicolas Cage movie Pig. Though I might watch that movie sometime. It's just like I didn't feel like watching it. So before we talk about the best and worst movies of the year, I want to talk about the disappointing movies of the year. Movies that I had high hopes for, or I heard was really good, that I watched and was disappointed, right? So we'll start at the bottom and then we'll work our way to the top. The first disappointing movie of 2021 is Censor, which is a British horror film, which was like a female-directed movie, female-starred movie, about a British censor in the 1980s who, after being accused, after letting, video nasty, get released, is then bombarded with criticism after some guy murders his family, and the lawyers claim he watched the movie and was inspired by the movie, which was obviously complete bullshit. And was later on in the movie you find out, he didn't even watch the movie, right? So it was like, yeah, that movie. A lot of fucking horror movie channels were hyping up this movie, and just like with any like channels that have to follow niches, that are about niches, they have to overhype fucking everything, man. Oh my god, anything that's kind of good, they have to overhype it. Which for a movie that's about about like gory movies, right? The gore effects in Censor was fucking terrible. Even Red Letter Media points it out in their review, which I didn't watch until after I watched the movie because I didn't want to get spoiled, right? The For a movie, like some of the clips they show from movies that were banned in England, like Driller Killer, the gore effects in that were a million times better. And for a movie that's like supposed to be about where you have a character who watches realistic, watches horror movies. You have really bad gore effects in your fucking movie. It should be realistic. It was so dumb, man. Not that the movie is bad, but at best, it's an average movie, right? So the next movie on the list of disappointing movies of 2021 is Mortal Kombat, which, if the controversy is true, they took out my favorite character from the movie because they were afraid of political backlash. When you had lots of movies that came out this year with white protagonists that didn't have riots happen because they had white protagonists. Which I was fine with Johnny Cage not being the protagonist in the movie, because he wasn't exactly the protagonist in the original. He was one of three protagonists, but he wasn't like the protagonist. So like they invented a character with a very OP power to make up for his like shitty fighting skills, which was like seeing like actual MMA fighting and like a supernatural like fighting movie was pretty cool. But at the same time, a lot of MMA guys make fun of like kung fu bullshit that you would see in Mortal Kombat. So I felt like that really honestly didn't fit. Let's be real. Yeah. So even though I don't think Mortal Kombat movie was bad, it was a disappointing because we were waiting for a long ass time for an R-rated Mortal Kombat movie, and then it comes out and Johnny Cage is not even fucking in it, and they put in some bullshit like character nobody wanted, who was not even from the games. I don't care if they're gonna add him later, it's bullshit. And there's lots of fucking characters they could have used, right? If they wanted to replace like Johnny Cage, but no. And they had the gall to sequel bait that with Johnny Cage's name. It's like, go fuck yourself. Next movie is Antlers, which is a horror movie by Scott Cooper. It had really bad CGI effects, and the movie ends with this like horror movie I can't pronounce it, cliche, where like, oh, the monster's not really dead, and it's fucking bullshit. The movie is a good movie, but some of the stuff in it was terrible, and then there's the fact that like the movie was obviously shot in Canada, so that bothers me. And the movie, I think it's supposed to be set during the Obama years, and it's like, were they trying to make some kind of like political commentary there? I have no idea. So the next two movies are anime films that I was looking forward to, which was, the first one is Mobile Suit Gundam Halfway's Flash, or whatever it's called, which is supposed to be like a sequel to Char's Counterattack, one of the best Gundam anime films, and probably a lot of people's lists, Char's Counterattack would be considered either the best mecha anime film, or at least it's in like the top 10 of anime films of all time. We get a sequel, and what do we get? We get there's like 2 mobile suit fights in the entire movie, and it's CGI mix, and they changed the Halfway's Gundam's design a little bit from the old model kit, because this was based off like a light novel that had like a model kit made, which looks cooler than the plasticky CGI model kit, and they changed like the Flash Gundam's face, which it's called by a different name, right? It's like a Chinese name. Yeah, I did not like this film. They also retconned they retconned. I know people disagree with me, but obviously you can tell that they never mentioned Chan's death. With Chan, for people who don't know, was Amuro's girlfriend, who halfway killed in Char's Counterattack. They don't even mention that. They mentioned that, oh, he, like, during the Char's Rebellion, or whatever it's called in the Gundam universe, he commandeered a Federation mobile suit and shot down one suit, right? No mention that one suit was also a Federation suit, and it was Amuro's fucking girlfriend, Chan. What the fuck, dude? Yeah. So the other disappointing movie of this year is Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 Thrice Upon a Time, which was disappointing to me for a few reasons, but which I'm going to go into when I eventually do my review. But the disappointing reason was there wasn't any really cool like iconic imagery or scenes like that the series is known for. Its iconic imagery. Two, the final confrontation between Shin and his father was pretentious bullshit jutsu, where they just talk it out. And it's like, the first time I've seen that, where like, where you have the final confrontation and they can't settle it with fists, they have to argument their way out. That was cool the first time I've seen that happen, but since then it's lost its like, I don't know what you would call it, but like it's overplayed now, and like this is supposed to be a mecha anime series, even though the mechs are not mechs. If you've watched Evangelion, you know what the Evas really are, right? So like, yeah, I don't know, that bothered me, and I always thought that we would see. I know people were gonna say, "Oh, you didn't like the movie because you didn't have like what you wanted to happen." They were always setting up that Gendo wanted to kill God, so at some point you would think, "Oh, God would show up" or something like that, or like something that represented God, right? So, like, it would have been cool if Gendo fought, like, something that was like God, or a representation of God, or like a representative of God, like, I don't know, like Michael the Archangel, or Metatron, the voice of God, or something like that. No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. No angels, and they totally ripped off Metal Gear Solid 4 with some of the Eva designs in this movie. The movie is good, but it's like, what the fuck? This is disappointing. And the fact that it has this like happy ending, that it's hard to tell, was the happy ending for all the incel Shinji fans, all the incel emo Shinji fans, or because Shinji is like, representative, like Shinji is based off Anno, and Anno nowadays is living a happy life where he has a hot girlfriend or a waifu or whatever, and who knows? Apparently, there's memes that Mari is based off Gendo's girlfriend. Who knows if that's true? People say that's a meme, that Mari was just made by like the studio wanted to make a character that wasn't made by Anno in the movie. So I don't know who gives a shit. So we'll start off with the best movies of 2021, just to get it out of the way, because I want to talk about the worst movies. And it was pretty hard for me to come up with this list, because even though I guess I was wrong, because I thought I told people this was a good year for movies. I am mistaken, because I had like almost half my fucking list is like superhero movies. Which is not good. That's not good. It's not good. It does not look good for a film critic when like half his movies on his best of movies is like blockbusters. But it's like, fuck. When I said this was a good year, I should have said compared to last year, right? It was a good year, because I can't even. If you were to ask me, what were some good movies that came out last year besides from Tenet? I couldn't tell you. I can't think of any other good movie that came out last year. Oy vey. Yeah. So, we'll start off with Cop Shop, right? Which is an action film by Joe Carnahan. Yes, there's some woke stuff in it, but besides from the woke stuff, I thought it was really good. Nice to see a good Joe Carnahan movie. I haven't watched a Joe Carnahan movie since I think 18, so this was pretty good. And I was a huge fan of Smoking Aces back in the day, so it was nice to see a good Joe Carnahan movie. Next, when this is going to be a controversial film from some of the people I know because they hated this movie, but I liked this movie, and I was always never a huge fan of this franchise. I think this franchise is a bit overrated. People treat the first film in this franchise like it's an art house like masterpiece, like it was fucking made by Alfred Hitchcock or Stanley Kubrick, when it isn't nearly anywhere near the caliber of those films. Which is, I'm talking about Halloween Kills. I love this movie because it was a fun horror film, and watching it, was around. I don't know. I can't remember when this movie came out, but I think did it come out around October? I don't know. It was a great. It was a nice movie to watch around the Halloween season. I think it might have came out before Halloween. I can't remember. But yeah, I love this. I think this movie is great, and I get some of the criticisms, but some of the criticisms, a lot of the people who hate this movie are people who suck the fucking dick out of the original movie like it's an art house movie when it's not. So yeah, Halloween Kills is what I consider one of the best movies that can come out this year. Next is we'll do the one horror movie that's on this list, the Nighthouse, which I wanted to hate this movie because Mr. H Reviews was like, this is the best horror movie of the year, and he trashed Demonic in my opinion, which is not a bad movie. It just came out in a bad it was just made during bad time, especially in Canada. The movie was made in Canada, and Canada has very restrictive rules, right? They for some reason, starting tomorrow, you're still allowed. If you took you're still allowed to go shopping, but you're no longer allowed to dine in at restaurants. So it's like, what the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. I wanted to hate this movie for contrarian reasons, but this movie was actually really good. It's a David Bruckner movie starring Rebecca Hall, who I don't know if it was my imagination, but there's a lot of scenes where she has a very noticeable Adam's apple, which is are girls supposed to have those again? I don't remember. But yeah, I don't know. I thought the movie was somewhat. It's a haunted house movie, but it has this interesting twist on it. And even though I did see one of the twists coming miles away, the first twist in the movie I did not see coming, right? And I don't know, I really enjoyed the movie. There's a lot of cool shots in the movie. If you're a fan of ghost movies, this is probably one of the better ghost haunting movies I've seen in quite a while. And I totally recommend this movie. And I am a little disappointed that this apparently was a movie that was supposed to be a sequel to that was supposed to be a reboot for Hellraiser, and there's no monsters in the movie. But other than that, it was a good movie. So the next movie on the list, we'll just say fuck it. The James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which a lot of people hate this movie. Because of the director and some of the characters they killed early on. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie. I saw this movie twice this year. I even saw it in theaters, and I loved this movie. The soundtrack was great. The costumes were great. The colors were great. The acting was great. Lots of funny moments in the movie. Great action. Cool gore. I love the movie, man. I love the movie. So next is a movie, a Norwegian movie by a director I used to be a huge fan of, who I haven't watched. He went Hollywood for a while, and I kind of lost interest. But uh, that the movie is The Trip, which is a Tommy Vercola movie, who did Dead Snow, which I love Dead Snow, and I gotta say this was a great movie. Was not a huge fan of the ending, but I really enjoyed the movie, and I hope Tommy Vercola just stick to fucking comedies, dude. Don't no more action or sci-fi movies. Just stick to comedy. That's what you're good at. Okay, next is a movie I did not watch, but my friend told me was good, and he pretty much note for note told me what happened in the movie, and that movie was Spider-Man No Way Home, which I did not watch the movie, by the way. It's only in theaters. I gotta say, I enjoyed the movie, but there was a bit too much CGI. And but overall, it was an enjoyable movie. It was nice to see Andrew Garfield and Toby back. I hope the rumors that they're gonna bring Andrew Garfield back for the Venom movies are true, because that would be nice. And I think Andrew Garfield is a great Spider-Man. I like him more than Tom Holland. Which, yeah. And by the way, if you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home yet, like me, according to my friend, a lot of the spoilers for this movie was bullshit. So, go watch it. A lot of the spoilers were bullshit. So go watch the movie. So, what haven't we talked about yet? Okay, next is No Time to Die. I know this movie had some woke bullshit, but I enjoyed the movie. The ending was awesome. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie, and I think it was a perfect, send off to Daniel Craig. I don't think they're going to make sequels with the fake female Bond in the movie. But if they do, I think what will happen is it'll bomb, and then we'll get, a male Bond again. So that's my take on it. I really enjoyed No Time to Die. Some people hate it. I don't know. I thought it was good. This was a year for a lot of average movies came out this year, in my opinion, and I thought this was at least one of the top 10s. So next is Zack Snyder's Justice League. I love this movie. Great cinematography, like some really iconic moments in the film. You got to see an R-rated superhero movie with swearing, and that scene with Batman and Joker on the teaming up in the post-apocalypse to take down Darkseid and Superman. I thought that was cool. I really hope that that we get to see more scenes from the Nightmare Future or whatever it's called. I really enjoyed it. So next is I think we only have 2 more movies left on this list. Okay, so the next movie is The Last Duel. This was another movie I wanted to hate because the director, Ridley Scott, went on this boomer rant blaming the young people for liking cape shit instead of awesome movies or whatever, historical dramas. I thought it's kind of his own fault for, hey man, the only people going to see movies in theaters this time of year are young people, so you should have known, hey, this movie wouldn't have done so great, because this movie's basically made for people over 25 or 30, let's be real. I really enjoyed the action in this movie. There's a lot more action in this movie than people let on. I love the performances of Matt Damon, Adam Driver, Ben Affleck as the grinning piece of shit liege lord Pierre, which I was in reviews. They keep calling him the king, and if you watch the movie, you know he's not the king. He's the cousin of the king. It was like the young guy with the dog who was the king in the movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and I thought it was great. So next, the last movie, which I think it's hard to say if this is the best movie that came out this year versus The Last Duel, but I really enjoyed this movie, and this movie is Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch. This movie has everything from romance to really cool sets, comedy. This movie has everything, man. And there's even a cool animated car chase in the movie, because I guess it would have been cheaper just to animate it than to actually show it. I really enjoyed this movie. The music was great. The performances were great. I really enjoyed this movie. This was probably my favorite movie of the year, and that came out this year. And we're gonna do the worst of 2021 in the next video, because we're already at half an hour. But the best movie I watched this year that didn't come out this year, that I reviewed, that I think everybody should watch, is an criminally underrated movie called Under the Silver Lake, which stars Andrew Garfield and is on Tubi right now. You can watch it. It's directed by the guy who made It Follows. And I think we all know why this movie didn't do well, if you know what I mean. Especially if you watch the movie, because it's about secret societies in Hollywood, which Hollywood doesn't like it when you make esoteric Hollywood movies that are about secret societies, right? Ask Stanley Kubrick what happened to him when he tried to make his esoteric well, that was about a secret society in New York, not in Hollywood, but whatever. Yeah, so we ran out of time. I'm gonna do the worst of 2021 in the next